And there we go. This didn't go quite as planned. In fact, it didn't go anything at all like planned because the welds were actually doubled up. So got a little bit of repair work to do there. Nothing too drastic. The rest of the sill came off no problem. As you can see, same process as when I removed the other ones. Weaken up all of the spot welds, set up plumber's pliers and basically just ease it along. If you have to put a lot of pressure on it to break, then you've not relieved the spot weld as much as you could, but it should be a pretty easy peel all the way along, and it just leaves you then to grind it flat. There's no extra putting from a spot drill or anything else, because this is single scan. It's not particularly easy to repair. Well, it is easy to repair, but you don't really want to repair it. It's just creating more work. So we'll get this dressed up and cleaned up to here, and that'll be us stripped off up to here. Process this side, same as the back. I'll start taking everything away from this side, work backwards, and hopefully the spot welds here will just actually break and give way. We will see. The solder in the corner here, not too sure about. Just need to cross that bridge when we come to it, as they say. Well, that's dressed up here. As I said, it didn't go quite as planned there. Didn't go quite as planned here either. Bit of carnage, so a bit more of repair to do here. Did go as planned when it snapped off the bottom. It came off clean. So unfortunately, but as that, to free up a couple of bits that were tacked in here, I had to cut out some of the bottom of the A-pillar, which I'm glad to say was other than a bit crusty, which we'll get to once the wing comes off. To replace it is actually surprisingly solid, so we'll get that repaired. And so let's see if we can get the sill in. As you can see, stepped in for the rear, and that's us at the front. So let's offer it up and see how we do. So offered up the sill and more or less everything, so it should be except at the front here. And I think this is another one of those anomalies between Mark 1 and Mark 2 cars, so it looks as though I'll need to move that middle sill just a little bit, which of course means where the old sill sat on top of the middle sill, this can't actually do that. I also noticed when I removed the sill, as he says, actually looking for the part that I removed, that coming down there from the top of the sill here actually had a hole in it, right there. Now I'm kind of in between whether to restore that hole or not. I didn't see any such thing in the back, so I think at the moment, with the drain holes at the bottom of the wings and the sills, that I may actually leave that without the hole in it. You know, actually no, I won't. I'll put the hole back in. It was there for a reason. We won't second guess why the designers did that. And yeah, I'll put that back in. I will also cut a little bit out of the middle sill if I can't tap it backwards, and that will allow me to get that in. Well, that's us got the sill offered into place. The back has actually settled in nicely, although the position of the folds at the end, as you'll see, I've had to do a little bit of work on. The clamped onto the position of the sill itself, I've ended up with a little bit of a run down in the door gap at the bottom. Door wise, still good. Gap wise, we've not changed anything. Come down to the front, same, but I'm not entirely happy with how it's sitting at the front, which is something to do with this, so I may need to take another section out of here, because this is this looks as though it needs to go up, but actually it needs to go in, and then it will come up. That small difference that I spotted in the sill, and if we remember from, as you can see, it's not sitting well at all, and that's nothing to do with the panel. That's the panels were actually made mostly for later cars. So what I think I'll have to do is I'll have to mimic almost what the later cars are like and modify this bit inner sill to go up. The later cars, there was a came off at an angle and sat underneath here. So yeah, but I felt on this side I need to get at least, I'd say, 5 to 8 millimetres up to get that to sit square. But at the moment, other than that, I think we're in pretty good shape. The carnage in here, this is going to sit nice and square when it's done. I'll bring this up a little. I'll be able to, if I take the side that I bent in here across, that should hopefully pull up here. But other than that, we seem to be more or less in and back in, including these bits with the factory intended. So all in all, that's been what, perhaps 2 hours work, maybe 3. So my original estimate of about 8 hours a side, it's probably going to be reasonably accurate to get the sill in. So you just need to remember that if you're doing it over a weekend, that's a Saturday and a Sunday that you need to give up. Not impossible, but you know, when you see it sitting in, you now see the bits that are never repaired with a step sill, sorry, with a cover sill, which is these parts in here. All of the drainage comes down here, and it will rot in here, and yet people just patch that in and put a cover sill all the way along, when in fact your actual box section and your strength is between your middle sill and here. So you ever go to look at an imp, the one thing you want to do is to take a look down from the inside of your door pocket, which you'll see part of the way into, and also if you look inside here, as I said, if we look down inside the door pocket, if I can catch that with the camera, let me come on, you'll actually see that little gap in the top of the step sill. So you can actually go down there for a look and actually see how solid it is. With the door carved off, it's really easy. But the chances, if you go to look at a car, chances of having the door pocket off is going to be pretty slim. So I'm going to modify this sill a little bit, and then I'll get some self-tapping screws in to hold it in place, and see about getting the rest of the bits repaired. and dolly down round about where we need to go. But another day and that'll be the floors and the sills complete, and we'll be able to drop the body onto a frame and start looking at the exterior panels. I hope. Oh yeah, except I forgot to finish the repair off here. I know yesterday I said I was going to do that first, but I got a bit carried away. But let's get it screwed in and see if I can get that one a bit better. So a bit more tinkering, and as you can see it's substantially better. The back's a bit tight because it can actually come down a bit, but other than that, the extra bends at the front. One thing I noticed is that on the sills we have two of these press sections which have to fit here and here, but actually this one, when I have it seated in, is not the same as here. About 3-4 millimeters needs to come off the front of this to make it fit. I don't think that anyone will notice, even the purists, but certainly when I look at where the panels are likely to sit, it just needs to come along a little bit more this way from where I had it to begin with, and I'll take a little nib off the front of here, get it screwed together and see how we look. Well, that's us. A couple of screw fixings in. Most things seem to be fitting reasonably well, where they should be anyway. Need to do the repair section for here. And as I said, I've trimmed a little bit off here, which you will never notice. This is fouling a little here, which is stopping it from coming all the way up. But we'll get that sorted. But other than that, everything is looking reasonably okay. Still 3-4 millimeters down here. But what I think I'll need to do is I need to take a little bit of the curve out of this, which is going to be quite difficult, or I'll need to give it the seating position at the bottom further out. I noticed that the floor, even although it looked straight when I did it, the floor to middle sill seam actually does run a little bit off this way to the corner, which is likely where this issue's occurred. So I may need to modify that a little bit. Exactly how, I'm not too sure. I think it's going to be a lot easier just to take this bit of the sill and actually just dolly a little bit more of a length on it, which pushes it up. I can actually get this sill to sit up here. The alternative is that I fix it up here and then see how it meets at the bottom, but trust me, it's worth the time to spend to get it right and to get some fixed datums in, such as these screws, so that you put it back in the same place, because very often you'll modify a bit but it's not going back in exactly the same place, so you end up chasing your tail for a while. I really do prefer to have these. I mean, that's literally where this is going to be fixed now, so anything I do to modify it now will be based on that. So next up will be part 2, where we actually get it fixed into place.